good man. He's a man. That line is so iconic, I can't get over it. We are continuing the theme of career highlights, and today I thought I'd talk about my biggest acting job to date, which is Anatomy of a Scandal. It's based on a book by Sarah Vaughan in which a powerful member of parliament is accused of SA. The show stars Sienna Miller, Rupert Friend, Michelle Dockery, Naomi Scott, Peppa Pig, yes really, and little old me. I play Christina, the family's au pair, recurring in episodes 1, 3, 4, 5 and 6, with a couple of juicy one-on-one scenes with the lead characters. The show became a global #1 the week that it was released, even beating Bridgerton at one point, and it was honestly my favourite job ever. So, it's November 2020, the world is in and out of lockdown, and I've practically given up on life. I get a self-tape through my agent on a random Wednesday at about 7 PM, and it's due by midday the following day, which is obviously not the norm, but it happens. Spoiler alert, in case you haven't seen the show, I'm probably going to mention a couple bits which might spoil it a little bit, so you've been warned. The audition scene was the ice cream scene I have with Rupert, and usually you don't get any information about the rest of the show, just your scene or part of a scene, but you do usually get a character description, which was this. I remember when I first read the scene, I thought it had a bit of a flirty undertone, and I wondered if maybe my character gets assaulted at one point. So my first instinct was to play it intense and flirty, like there's something going on. But I thought that maybe it was everyone else's interpretation as well, so I decided to go completely the other way and just play it very friendly and innocent. Now, I'm not saying that's the reason why I got the job, but casting directors do always say, make a bold choice, don't do what everyone else is doing, stand out from the crowd or whatever. And I do wonder if on this occasion I managed to do that for once. I was also off book, but I don't think that plays a big part because they always say, you know, it's not a memory test. So don't worry if you can't learn your lines that quickly. I prefer to be off book. Anyway, I sent the tape to my agent that same evening with the usual, you know, happy to make changes if required, and went to bed. The next morning there must have been some kind of an issue because I'd not heard back from my agent and I couldn't get hold of them. So I did what you're not supposed to do. I panicked and I ended up sending the tape directly to the casting director's office. You're not supposed to do that, don't do that. I'm sure my agent would have messaged me like 5 minutes later saying all good. But as I said, I just panicked and I really wanted to make sure they got it before the deadline. And I got the offer later that same day. It was all very quick. I got tested the next day, and then I got another test and a fitting a few days later. The fitting was cool because it was the first time that I felt like I was involved. The costume department, they sort of asked me what kind of things I thought my character would wear out of the options. I mean, I always say, I'm easy, whatever you think works best for the scene, but it was nice to be involved and asked. Anyway, we picked some cool items for Christina, and it was all the kind of stuff that I would wear in my daily life, so I felt very comfy throughout the shoot, which was nice. The next few days involved signing a load of contracts, uploading health questionnaires, and panicking about acting opposite Hollywood A-listers. I didn't think I could get more excited about this job until I got all the scripts through and read the words "a black Labrador puppy" in episode 2. My first shoot day was the 1st of December 2020, and the very first scene I filmed was the dinner scene. So I knew I was going to meet everyone. I was very nervous. For some reason I tend to try to take up as little space as possible and be neither seen nor heard, which is pretty much the opposite of what you should be doing as an actor, I think. I remember I brought my nerdy folder, which I'm gonna try and find somewhere. It had all my, you know, all my scripts with notes and stuff, but I didn't want to seem weird and nerdy, so I just ended up bringing the small sides they leave in your trailer for the day. I wanted to fit in. Thinking back, I honestly have no idea why I wasted so much time and energy stressing about anything, because everyone was so nice, honestly. I remember I got to set and S.J. Clarkson, the director, she said something along the lines of, "Welcome to the team, thanks for coming to play." And I'm pretty sure she said something about my tape being good, which it's all a bit of a blur because I was, you know, mega stressed, but it was lovely. Sienna Miller is the nicest person I've ever met. Honestly, my brain would not compute how someone can be that beautiful and that nice. It should be illegal. I don't understand how that works. Rupert Friend is also super nice. They both made me feel very welcome, and they were amazing. So we walked around the house, you know, everyone was saying wow every 10 seconds because that house was insane. It was so cool. Every single person on that set wanted to live in that house. And then we did a rehearsal with the cast and crew, got into costume and started shooting. That first day, I remember I was overthinking everything because I do that sometimes. I don't know what's wrong with me. The only direction that I got the first half of the day was SJ asked me to move my chair slightly, And I was like, oh man, am I that bad that she's just trying to film around my mediocrity and fix it in post or whatever? And then something just clicked and I was like, well, no, I'm a professional. I've been hired to do the job. I am doing my job. There's no need for me to be told, good job, after every take, because I'm doing the job that I'm hired to do, and my brain should just relax and let me enjoy things for once. I think I managed to put my imposter syndrome in the back seat and sort of managed to keep it there for the duration of the shoot. At the end of the first day, SJ said something like, great work, slotted right in, which made me feel good. It was validating. Because it was, 2020. We all had to wear visors and the crew had to be double masked, and at some point I think people who were working in close proximity with the actors had to even wear goggles. It was a bit of a mad time. Sienna, Rupert and I would sit in one area and then the kids would be held at a different area, and it was all like separated by tape and stuff, but then we were in each other's spaces during takes, so it was a little bit weird, certainly different from a typical set experience, but we still had fun. Most of my scenes were shot at Shepperton Studios inside the house, but I also filmed a couple scenes which included the exterior of the house on location in Mayfair, I think, which is where I got papped for the first time in my life, and my picture was in the Daily Mail. That was weird. My last day was 22nd of January 2021. It was a little bit emotional. I hate goodbyes. But yeah, we all broke some distancing rules that day. Hugs were hugged. We managed to take some pictures before the COVID supervisor tackled us to the ground. And I said goodbye to my family. I really miss them all. Because of 2020, there was no wrap party, so we didn't get to celebrate with everyone like you normally would. Luckily, I got invited to the premiere the following year. So this was my first red carpet experience as a VIP guest. Normally, the carpet is split into two sections. One is for all the regular guests, people who bought tickets, etc. And a whole other section where all of the stars of the show and all of the invited celebrity VIP guests do the interviews and have their pictures taken and stuff. Before this, I'd only ever been on that other section. I was met at the entrance to the red carpet by someone who somehow knew who I was. He was standing there with a list of names and people who were coming and pictures and stuff. I was on the same page as Noel Gallagher. Insane, right? Oh yeah, fun fact, I used to work as one of those people.
That's a bit of a...
It was interesting to process at the time. Then someone told me where to stand, and I got my photo taken by Dave Bennett himself. And then I was taken around the other side, and there was a whole wall of photographers. And that was... I just remember feeling like a deer in the headlights. I had no idea how to stand, where to look. They were all like,
look over to your right, over to your left, and straight down the middle, blah, blah.
and I was like, well, at least that's how it felt. I'm actually amazed I look okay in the pictures because I genuinely thought that they were gonna turn out like this. Afterwards, Sienna told me that that doesn't last long and it just goes away, so hopefully I'll get a bit more practice soon. Honestly, she's the nicest person in the world. I'm pretty sure her and SJ shouted, Christina! when they were getting their pictures taken. I also finally met Sarah Vaughan in person after chatting on Instagram DMs for like a year. It was all quite new to her as well, so we had that in common. They screened the first 2 episodes and I remember that's when I finally relaxed because my partner and I, we went together obviously, and we ended up sitting next to the editors who told me that none of my scenes got cut. At that point I was slightly traumatized by having my one-liner characters be demoted to basically featured extras. And while I knew it wasn't possible to cut me out completely from the show, because I'm in it a lot, I was still refusing to relax until I saw myself with my own eyes. So it was nice to have confirmation that I'm definitely in it. After the after party, my partner and I walked past the big billboard in Piccadilly Circus and took some pictures of this huge moment. Then we got home and ordered a massive pizza and watched the rest of the show in the morning. I remember I was just so overstimulated by everything that was happening. It was such a huge deal for me. It was my biggest job. It's still my biggest acting job to date. It was incredible. I sent a couple thank you emails and everything. I got a lovely note from SJ in the post, which was really, really nice. Oh, and I also got a note from Emily B. Smith, who is the little girl who is the voice of Peppa Pig. We were all like, what? Basically, it was the best 2 months of my life. Annoyingly, I've only had one other job since. Telly job. I've had commercials and plays and stuff, but yeah.
If anyone is casting for anything, I'm available.
I'm just rambling now, but I'm trying to wrap it up nicely. Also, I didn't like myself as well as I did for the Tomb Raider thing, so I'm probably gonna hate my face, but there's not much we can do. So this is a story of how I booked a recurring role in a #1 Netflix show. It took many years of sending cold emails into the ether. thank you for being here. Please do the YouTube stuff. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment. That'd be great. If you haven't seen the show yet, do go and check it out because it's pretty cool. I know I'm biased, but it's actually really good. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next week.